consecutive year that these two teams have met in the zone finals, with A.N. Myer winning the last 3, but this matchup almost never happened. Although Notre Dame had a very convincing 18-point victory over the West Lane Spartans on Tuesday, A.N. Myer had to overcome a 13-point fourth-quarter deficit against a pesky Centennial Cougar squad and eventually escaped with a 5-point victory. It's a similar situation that we're all too familiar with, Myer's front line versus the quickness of Notre Dame's guards. So stick around and we'll see which one prevails tonight. Now let's go down to Jim and Jack.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Courtside here as the A and Myer Marauders and Fighting Irish of Notre Dame get set to do battle, as Jeff mentioned, for the 5th consecutive year in the Zone 3 championship game. Of course, the A and Myer Marauders having won the last 3 straight during the Greg Newton era, the Twin Towers with the Garashi era. Now the younger Newton, Darren, set to maybe assert himself as one of the top players in the Niagara region.
Should be an interesting ball game tonight, Jim. We saw the Irish, a very excellent basketball team earlier in the year. Probably there wasn't a team better in perhaps the whole province when we saw them play in that tip-off game against St. Catharines Collegiate. Since then, they had some ups and downs. Myer has been pretty consistent. They've been getting good play. They've defeated Notre Dame twice during league play. The last time we saw them, very convincingly, they defeated them. This is going to be an interesting ball game. Myers and Notre Dame are both going to have to come up with a good ball game. I'll be very surprised if these two teams are not both playing super ball games tonight.
For the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, Mark Ventresca usually carries the hot hand. The last couple of times we've been out to see him, he was pretty cold. Does he have to be hot tonight? Does Vince Policella have to carry the load in order for the Irish to win?
If that's the case, then the Irish will not win. There's no question about it. Mark Ventresca has got to be able to play not only a scoring ball game, he has to play defense. And if Mark has a bad habit, it's sometimes he gets really slack in defense. So that's something we have to look for early. Vince Policella has been the most consistent factor with the Irish. Moscato has been consistent all year. Marcio no longer is the young player we talked about at the beginning of the year. He's had a full senior season under his belt now. He's got to come up big. And for the Myer Marauders, Scremmons, although he's a big boy, has not done the job that we thought that he would do earlier in the year. And as you mentioned off the top, Darren Newton has really done a great job along with Rich Stefanovic, number 32 for Myer. They've been really big guns, but more important than for Myer, they've got big games out of Sills, Kuhn, Stockton. Players that we thought Myer would be weak in that position have come up big for them this year, and that's been a big plus for Myer.
Size-wise, the Irish come in with Upper, Policella, and Jeff Moscato. Upper and Policella at 6'4", Moscato at 6'5". The Marauders would seem to have the size advantage there, both Newton and Stefanovic at 6'4", Scremin, the big man, at 6'9". Who wins that battle?
Oh, there's just no question about it. We've said all year that Myers just got a great front line, and the edge in the backcourt we thought would go to the Irish. As it turns out, Myer did have a great front line. They still got a great front line, but the backcourt of Myer has also been more than equal to the task. And the thing that's kept the Irish in it has been Policella. They have not got the big games out of Upper that they were hoping to. And as we said off the top, Ventresca has just been up and down and inconsistent all year.
For Notre Dame head coach Ralph Nero, this game has got to seem like a monkey on his back. This is the 5th time we mentioned that they've met in the zone final. Notre Dame won it once. Myer has since swept it, winning the last 3.
Yeah, and it goes in cycles like that. A lot depends on who your big stars are. Notre Dame, as we've said before, every one of these players are back next year. So they're the young team. Myers the veteran team. Myers toward the end of their run now. And Notre Dame will be a very tough team next year. The question here is whether Notre Dame can come up big in this ball game. There's something in me, Jim, it might be my old bias being a former Notre Dame coach, but there's something that in me says that if Notre Dame can play the kind of game they played early in the year, they could be tough in this ball game tonight.
The Irish can be tough. Maybe a sidebar to tonight's game is the fact that this is the last season that Bob Cool will coach the high school ranks, of course, at A.N. Myer, and before that, Stanford, a well-known coach, always brought good basketball teams to wherever he went. I'm sure anybody on the floor for the Marauders is not going to want to be one of the players that lost Bob Cole's last game.
No, and I congratulate Bob. One of the highlights I had in my 15 years of coaching the Notre Dame Senior Irish, I always look forward to the games that we played when Bob was with Stanford. We had some great basketball games. I always look forward to the competition. Bob's teams are always well coached, well disciplined, tremendous sportsmanship exhibited by his teams, and I wish him well. Somebody, we were talking before the basketball game, and somebody was asking him if it was his last game, and he just kind of looked at him and had that silly grin on his face and said, "I hope not."
Bob Cole and the A. Myer Marauders against Ralph Nero and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. All the action of the Zone 3 Senior Boys AAA Basketball Championship game comes your way on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. Up next.
For centuries, Native Canadian prairie...
McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week, Senior Boys AAA Basketball Championship. The A. Myer Marauders and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, and Dave Scremin won the opening tip for the Marauders in purple, but tipped it right into the hands of the Irish. Gus Marcio opens with the ball.
Good ball game we expect tonight. We've got two of the top referees in the Niagara District.
Paulacella drives off the glass.
I say the two top referees, Timmy Morrow, Brad Bissonnette. They're acknowledged to be among the better referees. We've got the two better teams in the area. This should be a great night of basketball.
On the floor for the Marauders, Dave Stockton, Darren Newton, Rich Stefanovich, Dave Scremin, and Trevor Brown. As Paulacella strips away the errant pass, takes it all the way past Stockton, banks it off the window. Moscato there with a follow, stripped by Scremin. Darren Newton comes up with a loose ball. The Irish countering with Paulacella, Ventresca, Moscato, Marcio, and Upper. Stefanovich down low, Scremin, kick it out to Newton for the dunk!
Good job, Newton defeated, went right by Todd Upper. Upper pressuring out there, putting a little heat on Newton. Newton beat him badly.
Upper will inbound from the side. Into Ventresca.
Myer playing a tough man-to-man as the Irish were.
Marcio drives, knocked away by Scremin, but Darren Newton called for the foul.
One thing the Irish have shown very early, they're going to take it right at him.
Take another look at Darren Newton's jam. Scremin kicked it out, and Newton just gets it to fall through. Tied at 2. Gus Marcio on the line for the Irish.
As we've said so many times, the ability to make foul shots is such a key thing in these basketball games. In that case, Marcio comes up at 50%. And we've got Newton again on Upper, takes Upper up in the air.
Thrown out of bounds, Stefanovich tried to save it, stepped on the line, Irish ball.
One thing the difference is that we didn't see the last time we saw these two teams play, we didn't see the intensity of defense that we're seeing here in the first couple of minutes of this ball game. I'm sure Coach Ralph Nero, contrary to the last game, I'm sure he likes what he's seeing so far tonight.
Ventresca works it inside to Moscato.
And there they go, taking it right at him again.
He went up strong, and Darren Newton takes his second foul already. 5:29 remaining in the first quarter.
Irish running a little pick and roll. They've done it 2 or 3 times now. They just run pick and roll for the guard at the top, take it right to the hole.
2 fouls, and Darren Newton will sit on the bench. Myers' superb 6th man, Chris Kuhn, into the game.
Like Marcia earlier, Moscato misses the first one, makes the second. That kind of foul shooting is not good enough. 50% won't cut it in this game. Marshall matchup on Stockton.
Stefanovic inside to Scremin, lost the handle. Moscato comes up with it.
So far in this ball game, Myers committed 3 turnovers.
Ventresca lost his footing, threw it away. Trevor Brown comes up with the errant pass. Stefanovic drives baseline, runs right into Moscato, lost the handle on the ball. Upper comes away with it for the Irish. Up to Marcio, lead pass Ventresca.
And another Myer foul.
Blocking called, blocking violation on Trevor Brown. So Ventresca will take his crack from the line.
Very early in the ball game, this is the 5th time Irish have been on the line as they take the ball right to the hoop.
Ventresca misses his first. Misses the second. Brown with a rebound.
And Irish making 2 out of 6 from the foul line early in the basketball game.
Down low to Scremin, off the glass, shot and the foul. Scremin spins around on Moscato. And almost before the ball had passed through the mesh, Harry Plass was up off the Irish bench and into the game.
Any Irish defender is going to be in an awful lot of trouble if they play directly behind Scremin in the low post. He's just got too much size. He too misses a foul shot. So we haven't, early in this ball game, we haven't seen brilliant foul shooting so far, Jim.
4-4, just over 4 minutes left to play. In the first quarter, A.N. Myer and Notre Dame involved in their 5th straight Senior Boys AAA Zone 3 championship game as Chris Kuhn picks up the steal and the easy bucket. Put the Marauders up by 2.
That was just careless basketball by Upper. He assumed the guard would be there, and Kuhn just step up in the lane. Irish playing their flex offense as they normally do. They've been playing it for an awful lot of years now.
Policella can't get the bounce. Scremin gets the rebound. Ahead to Stockton. Down the floor goes Dave Stockton. Stockton tries to dish inside to Scremin, picked off by Ventresca. Ventresca gets cut off. Stefanovic and Stockton just gave him no more room to run. Stockton will get called for the foul. Check that, they give it to Stefanovic. Emilio Presti into the game for the Irish. He'll take Todd Upper's place as Andrew Johnson comes in for Myer.
And for Stefanovic, that's his 2nd foul.
Ventresca's first 3-point attempt of the game misfires off the rim. Scremin with a board.
It's so important that Ventresca makes some of his early shots. He tends to really get down on himself if he misses. So far, he's only had a mediocre first quarter. That's a key thing to be watching for the Irish.
They work it inside. Kuhn off the window.
Good job by Kuhn, good position.
Marcio pushes it ahead for the Irish. Policella spots up the 3.
Policella, an air ball.
Myer takes the ball on the end. Marauders lead it 8-4. Slow pace to this opening quarter. Johnson blows by Policella. Drives into Emilio Presti. Presti called for the block.
Like almost inevitably happens in that situation, probably about 90% of the time when it's a charge block foul, the referee will usually call the block.
Johnson nothing but net on his first of two. Silk on the second as well. Andrew Johnson's 2 points have given the Marauders a 10-4 lead. Late arriving fans just filing into the gym here at Eastdale in Welland. As Marcio puts one up from the free throw line, Gus Marcio goes high with a rainbow.
That was a bit of a prayer on that one, trying to throw it up over Scremmons, but he got the job done.
Stockton missed Johnson on the cut, threw it away. Irish ball.
Stockton thought Johnson was going to zig, and Johnson zagged on that particular one. He just wasn't there, just a misread.
Work it inside. Presti gets knocked away by Johnson. Kuhn comes away with a loose ball.
We've seen that happen 2 or 3 times this game. Irish take it right to the inside, and bang, there's the big size of the Irish.
Andrew Johnson at 6 feet. Gets the block. Stockton tries a three. Goes out of bounds. Last touch by Myer.
Stockton could Scremmons could quite easily have been called over the back on that one. Notre Dame players were asking about it, but referee Brad Bissonnette just chose to ignore it.
Ventresca steps inside the three-point line, kicks it outside. Policella drives on Scremmen.
Again, the big guy's in there to
gets
reject
the block.
it.
But the Marauders lose possession as it was a last touch by Myer.
Scremmons is a definite factor in the middle so far in this basketball game.
Marcio's three well off the mark. Kuhn saves it on the end line. 30 seconds left to play in the first quarter as Stockton brings the ball across midcourt. Marauders will play for last shot. Stockton needs some help, calls for time.
That's a timeout that was called with only 17 seconds in the first quarter. Not particularly a timeout I'm sure that Coach Bob Kuhl wanted in that one. You like to have a few of these timeouts left. And but Stockton is thinking that in this kind of a ball game, every possession is important. He was in an awful lot of trouble in midcourt. Young Gus Marcio is very quick and is a tough ball player to beat at midcourt.
10-6, Myer leads it. 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Irish getting the majority of their points from Gus Marcio. He has 3, Policella with 2, Moscato has 1. For the Marauders, Chris Kuhn with 4, Dave Scremmen and Darren Newton each with 2, and Andrew Johnson has 1.
The big story, I think, though, Jim, is the fact that Scremmen's inside. The Irish have taken it in there at least 4 or 5 times. Scremmen's rejected him, totally dominating the inside, and has just simply stopped any of these shots from getting up on the inside. The other thing that's noted difference, and usually in this ball games, Irish take the early lead, Myer comes back to win the ball game. This one's a little different. Myer's got the early lead. We'll have to wait and see who's going to win the ball game.
17 seconds in the first quarter. The Marauders will inbound. Johnson to Stockton.
O'Leary substituting in here for Marcio. O'Leary is also an excellent defensive ball player.
O'Leary closely guarding Stockton. Foul called behind the plate. That'll be on Emilio Presti, working on Chris Kuhn.
For Presti, that's his second foul.
For Presti, that'll be some time on the bench as Todd Upper checks back into the lineup. Now 7 seconds remain. The Marauders will set it up again.
Good job by O'Leary.
Stripped by O'Leary. He'll take it in. Off the front of the rim. Stockton grabs the rebound as the buzzer sounds on the first quarter. 10-6.
Good job by O'Leary, though. Good pressure.
You mentioned Pat O'Leary being put in there for his defensive abilities, replacing Gus Muschio.
Yeah, O'Leary plays really tough defense. Took it up really well, but there it is again. Johnson hit him. Again, there was no call on the play. The ball just didn't roll over the front of the rim. O'Leary went hard into the end matting there. Came up rubbing his hip on that. Even with the matting there, that hurts. But I don't think Coach Nero can be too upset with that half. The Irish came out with good intensity. That's something they haven't shown in their last few ball games, so that's an improvement in that regard. In terms of Coach Bob Cool, although he has the lead, he's got a couple of key players, Newton and Stefanovic, and a little bit of foul trouble for so early in the ball game. They each have 2. Kuhn, as he did in the playoff game against Centennial, has come up really big. He's got 4 points, including a couple of steals. That's what Myer needs in this kind of a game.
Marauders will start the second quarter with the ball.
Referee Tim Morrow puts it in play.
Marcio doing a good job defending against Stockton. Stockton looks for some help, finds Kuhn. Stockton in the corner for 3. That's off the front of the rim. Scremin grabs a rebound. Stockton will reset the offense.
Again, big Scremin's in there making a big difference in this ball game tonight. Something we haven't seen him doing for a while.
O'Leary guards Trevor Brown. Brown works it down low. Newton on the baseline. Stockton comes away with a loose ball.
And again, the Irish, who never do really block out on the ball, they just go for the ball, and they always seem to have trouble against these bigger teams. If Irish have a weakness, it's that they don't do very well on the boards. They rely on quickness to get rebounds, and quite often quickness doesn't beat bigs.
Irish having some problems getting their offense set as Moscato steps up. Pops one off the back of the rim, gets his own rebound. Darren Newton's got 3 now as he gets called for the foul on Moscato.
That becomes really a key play in this ball game right off the bat. Here comes Stefanovic up.
Rich Stefanovic checks in to take Darren Newton's spot on the floor. Policella for 3. Off the back of the rim, Stockton grabs the loose ball. He'll bring it up the floor and slow things down as the Marauders get set. Stefanovic baseline. Off the rim, Kuhn grabs the rebound.
Once again, basically in basketball, whenever the other team throws the ball up, the defensive team has always got to come down with the rebound. That simply is not happening for the Irish. That's becoming a real factor in this ball game so far.
Todd Upper gets called for the foul on Kuhn. Neither team in the bonus as Scremin kicks it outside for Stockton. Stefanovic stripped to the ball, wrestle for it on the floor. Upper comes away with it and calls timeout from his knees.
Irish is showing a good hustle on defense. What they do is every time a Myer player picks up the dribble, the person that's covering them shuts them right down, gets right in their face. Everybody else moves into passing lanes. That's causing Myer an awful lot of problems. They've turned it over 2 or 3 times. From a Irish perspective, though, they're just simply allowing Myer to dominate the boards, especially in the Irish end. That's really becoming a factor in this ball game.
Let's check in with Jeff Girodat on the sidelines.
Thanks, Jim. At the Myer break, they stressed a couple things. One of the first things they was they're very pleased with the defense. Anytime you can allow only 6 points to a Notre Dame team in one quarter, you've got to be playing good defense. The second thing is they told their guards not to kill their dribbles so quickly. A couple times they got caught with only 30 seconds left. Stockton had to call a timeout. That's not a timeout that Coach Cole wants to do. Coach Cole likes to save his timeouts and more of a technician at the end of the game. And Darren Newt with early foul trouble, he's already got 2. That's going to be a key. With 3, that's going to be a key in the second half.
Thanks, Jeff. Of course, picking up his third just after the second quarter started. Let's take a quick look at Scremin and Moscato battling here on the floor.
That was a good move by Upper right there to call the timeout. He came up on his knees. If he had passed it, it would have been a traveling call.
You see Scremin and Moscato just pushing and shoving a little bit. These two teams know each other very well. Ventresca.
For the Irish,
off to the side.
Jeff was talking about keeping the Irish down. For the Irish, they have to have Paulicello, Ventresca scoring. That's simply not happening so far in this ball game. Ventresca missed an early 3, and he's got a tendency in the ball game, if he misses early, not to put it up.
Kuhn went for the steal. The pass got through to Paulicello. Ventresca for 3.
And that's a big 3 in this basketball game. If he gets confidence in that shot, that's going to be problems for Myer.
That cuts the Myer lead to 1. It's 10-9. First points of the second quarter as Trevor Brown drives the baseline. Can't get it to fall. Rattles in and out. Paulicello quickly away with it. Headbands it up for Ventresca. He couldn't handle it. Stefanovic with the loose ball back the other way for Myer.
Ventresca tried to dribble the basketball before he caught it.
Scremin spin around in the paint. Banks one in off the window. Dave Scremin now has 4.
Good pass the inside.
Moscato can't get the shot to go against Scremin. Got it up and over him, but it wouldn't fall.
The big
now
man
Stefanovic
again.
fouled hard on his way through. Rich Stefanovic will go to the line.
And that's foul number 2 on Moscato. And both teams are running into a little bit of foul trouble. For the Irish, Moscato and Presti, and a little bit of trouble. And for Myer, Newton, and Stefanovic, a little bit of trouble.
Moscato checks out. Harry Plass in to take his place. Off the front of the rim for Stefanovic. We'll take another look at Rich Stefanovic's drive. As he misses his second shot as well. Tough foul for Stefanovic. Back to game action. Stockton comes away with a loose ball as Myer continues to press. Trevor Brown for 3. That's off the rim. Stockton underneath grabbing a board.
But again, we see Gus Marshall let players sneak right by him.
Foul called away from the play. The backside official came running in and called Dave Scremin. As far as I could see, Dave Scremin wasn't really involved in the play that much. It was Dave Stockton who would grab the loose ball underneath.
Yeah, I don't know what he saw in that play, but referee is definitely giving it to Scremmins, and whatever happened there, referee Brad Bissonnette didn't like what he saw. Neither team is shooting well from the foul line. That's a big surprise in this ball game tonight.
Stefanovic comes away with a loose ball. And Todd Upper touches it while standing out of bounds. So Myer will take it on the end.
Both teams having a tremendous tough time, Jim, in getting the ball to go in the hoop. Nobody's really doing any scoring in this ball game. The difference in this game is that Myer continues to control the boards.
Stockton pressured. Goes cross court to Stefanovic. Stefanovic lost the handle, gets it back. Kick it outside to Kuhn. He'll take it in. Outside to Stefanovic. He'll drive the baseline and put it up.
That's Stefanovic's favorite move, taking it down the baseline and pumping from about 12. He's a good shooter from that range.
14-10, Myer leads. As the Irish work on offense.
We don't see anybody on the Irish team really looking to square up. There it is right there.
Blast from outside, off the mark. Upper with a chance of the rebound, but Trevor Brown beats him to it.
Once again, Myer controlling the boards. Irish getting one crack at it and losing it.
Back the other way comes Stockton. Kuhn through the middle. Todd Upper called for the block.
Kuhn does a good job catching the ball, squaring up, taking it right to the hole. That's something that we don't see too often with the Irish.
Ryan Sills into the game for the Marauders. Trevor Brown has earned himself a well-deserved rest with some good hustle here in the first quarter.
Once again, the bad foul shooting continuing. Both sides unable to really get the job done on the foul line.
3 minutes remain in the first half. Both teams in the bonus. As Kuhn misfires, Scremin almost had a chance at the rebound. Lost it to Harry Plass. He dished off to Policella, who will take it in himself.
And I think Scremin's.
Policella just threw it at the basket. It was enough to draw the foul on Scremin.
That's a couple on him.
A couple on Scremin and 3 on Newton. The Marauders in some trouble. Policella hits both. He's now got 4 in the game. Cuts the Myer lead to 2. Stefanovic, baseline. It's not there.
Good rebound by Presti. Good rebound by Presti. One of the few times the Irish have really gone up and got the basketball.
Ventresca for 3. Nothing but net for Mark Ventresca.
That's 2 in a row that he's hit. That's going to be a big factor in the second half of this ball game if he gets his confidence.
The Irish take the lead 15-14. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Sills, nice move. Can't get it to go off the glass. Policella grabbed the rebound. Sills stripped him and gets called for the foul.
Reaching in the inside, that's almost inevitable that one's going to be called. Sills made a great move to the hoop, but actually did make a good decision of throwing it up. He was off balance, a little out of control in that play. Policella on the line, one of the few players in this ball game that consistently can hit the foul shot. Four for Policella from the line.
6 points in the game for Vince Policella. Widens the Irish lead to 3. Stefanovic tried to work it inside to Scremin. Battle for it along the baseline. Last touch by the Irish.
Plass doing a good job in the inside on the bigger man. Scremin's getting out in front of him.
Scremin takes it outside, lost the handle. Tip to Emilio Presti.
Once again, the Irish guards a little hesitant to take it to the inside. You got to be willing to beat that first man. You got to be willing to do something with the basketball. Irish aren't willing to do that at this stage of the game. .113 to go in this quarter. Irish being patient. There's the move we're looking for.
Kick it outside to Policella for 3. Vince Policella's caught fire here in the second quarter. The Irish open a 6-point lead.
For the Irish, Policello is the guy they look for to score. Foul on O'Leary, very, very aggressive on defense. Good job on O'Leary's part. He just reached up, got a little bit of a touch on the arm. And whenever that happens in midcourt, that's going to be called every time. But O'Leary is very, very aggressive on the D.
That'll put Ryan Sills on the line for the Marauders.
For Sills, his first time up. For Myer, that's only their 3rd out of 8 tries. This is 4 out of 9.
Sills went for the steal.
Almost came down with it, too. Looking at 32 seconds here in this quarter. Irish will probably work it down to get the last shot. It's a matter now of whether they can do it without the turnover. That's what they have to be careful of. Down to 15 now.
O'Leary drives through.
O'Leary's got a bad habit of taking that layup right from the hip. He fires it right up from the hip. Doesn't have good arm position on the ball.
Stefanovic missed a shot. Kuhn at the buzzer.
Policello simply didn't box out. The story of this half for the Irish.
Count the basket for the Marauders, and it's 20-18 at the half. A great half of basketball.
And although it wasn't highlighted by an awful lot of scoring, we were very, very aggressive defense. Excellent job on the part of both teams with the defensive end of it. Foul shotting, not all that great. Policello did a good job on the line, but nobody else really did a great job. This replay that's going to be coming up here, Jim, I think in a minute, we just missed the part of it that is the key element here, that the ball is thrown up by the Myer. Irish stand around. Myer's coming up with too many of those second chances, and that one we see Kuhn cashed in right at the end. It's a big basket.
For the Marauders, balanced offense, getting 4 points from Chris Kuhn, Dave Scremin, and then points from a variety of other players to hang in the game at 18. Notre Dame counting on the 2 big guys they usually do count on to score, Vince Policello and Mark Ventresca. Policello with 9, Ventresca with 6, 2 of 3 from 3-point range.
And the difference in the game, as it is so often, probably will end up being at the end of this game, is from the foul line. Irish getting 7 from the charity stripe, Myer only 4. That's a difference of 3. That's about the ball game right there, Jim. It happens so often. We keep saying it. It's such a key factor in the ball game. That and rebounding are 2 major factors that are going to determine the outcome of this game.
Through one half, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame hold a 2-point margin over the A. Myer Marauders, 20-18 in the Zone 3 Senior Boys AAA Championship basketball game. We'll return with second half action on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week right after this. High School Game of the Week, Jim Gould along with Jack Chambers and Jeff Girardat as we're covering the Zone 3 Senior Boys AAA Championship basketball game. The A. Myer Marauders and Fighting Irish of Notre Dame doing battle for the 5th consecutive year in this championship final. At the half, the Irish with a 2-point lead, 20-18, and Notre Dame will open the second half with the ball.
The game that, for all intents and purposes, Jim, is a tied basketball game. A 2-point lead, of course, is nothing in this game. Both teams have to be happy. Probably Irish, if anything, should be a little upset. They might have had the opportunity to have a little bigger lead than they do have. Myer has to be a little happy they got away with their big front line in foul trouble. They're still hanging in.
The Irish in the home white, Myer in the road purple. Moscato working down low on Scremin. He'll kick it outside. Back down low to Moscato, spin move. Can't shake Scremin, kick it back outside.
And there's Upper, had a chance. He had Newton one-on-one, but Todd Upper won't take the ball to the hole. He's a little hesitant, but he's going to have to if he's going to.
Moscato drives, blocked by Scremin.
But that's what you got to do. You got to take it at these people.
Marshall spots up and silks a 3. Gus Marchio now with 6. The Irish up by 5.
The Irish are going to have to take it at that big line of Scremmins, Newton, and Stefanovic if they're going to be in this basketball game.
Dave Stockton, the lone guard on the floor for the Marauders. 3 forwards, a center, and a guard on the floor for Myer.
Myer's big advantage in this game has been on the boards, and now what they're looking to do is increase that advantage.
Kuhn from outside, that's off the rim. Battle for the rebound, Moscato comes away with it. Dishes off to Policella, he'll take it in on Stockton. Vince Policella continues to carry the hot hand.
Irish open up quick, 5 quick points here to open up their lead. Quick 7-point lead. Myer is gonna have to get something going here and early.
Kuhn drives past Ventresca. Ventresca called for the hold.
Mark Ventresca simply has to get his butt down when he plays defense, get his feet moving, and be ready to hustle more. He stands up way too high on there, and people just take him out one-on-one.
Stefanovic, quick outlet. Scremin grabs the rebound on Rich. Stefanovic's miss and banks it in.
Once again, the Irish miss on the boards because there's no blocks out. Hands are down, and Myers just dominating the board on the inside. Baskets that should never occur in a basketball game of this caliber.
Policella for 3. That's off the rim. Stefanovic saves it right into the hands of Policella. He kicks it over to Ventresca, back to Policella. He'll take it inside. Goes up into the face of Scremin. Scremin called for the foul. He's got 3.
That's Newton and Scremmins now, both at 3, the 2 big men.
Only players in foul trouble maybe for the Irish are Moscato and Presti, both at 2. Scremin and Newton for the Marauders, each with 3.
Right off the bat, Plas goes in. Coach Ralph Nero is working Plas and Moscato, both big time against Scremmins, trying to wear him down because Scremmins hasn't been off this court yet.
Policella can't buy a break on the other end. Rattles both free throws. The Marauders back the other way. Newton looks to go past Upper, does, shot and a foul.
That's why those 3 fouls on Darren Newton were so key early in the ball game.
Darren Newton with a chance at a 3-point play.
Foul number 2 on Todd Upper. Newton's is such a good basketball player. To have him sitting on the pines for almost the entire first half really hurt Myer.
Newton converts the 3-point play. He's now got 5 in the game.
Myer
and
putting
pulls
on a
the
little
Marauders
pressure.
to within 2.
For the first time in the ball game, we saw Myer putting on a little full court pressure following the made foul shot.
They spring Ventresca loose for 3. That's off the back of the rim. Stefanovic pulls down the board.
And the Irish getting 1 shot at it. If it doesn't go, they lose it.
Newton pulls up the 3-point attempt off the rim. Stockton in there for the rebound. Jump ball arrow in favor of Myer.
Myer usually looking to throw the ball in tight in that situation, forced to throw it back to the outside.
Stockton drives on Marcio. Marcio called for the hold.
It's a big difference in this ball game, and we tend to see the older, more experienced players of Myer getting the ball one-on-one the outside and taking it to the hole, penetrating with the basketball. You don't see the Irish players doing that.
You've got to be impressed with the way Dave Stockton's going to the boards. The guard at 5'11" is cleaning up.
Doing a great job, doing a great job. He's been solid for them all year. A pleasant surprise for them at the guard spot this year.
Newton works on Presti.
There's another chance at a 3-pointer.
This time Newton banks one in. Presti draws the foul. Take a look at the last layup, baseline shot that Darren Newton put up over.
It's the same kind of a
Todd
play.
Upper.
He takes a great job taking the ball to the baseline and then just taking that little shot.
Upper gets a hand on him. Newton lays it in. Converts another three-point play here. Darren Newton with 8, and the game is tied at 25. Stockton almost had that picked off.
Irish are a little shook up now by the play of Newton, a player who sat out the first half with foul trouble. He's come out and been dynamite here in the second half so far.
Dave Stockton is in Mark Ventresca's hip pocket, where he'll probably be the rest of the night. Moscato misses from down low. Scremin pulls down the board.
Good move, though, by Moscato, taking on Scremmins, who's got 3 fouls.
Stockton inside, Stefanovic miss. Scremin with a follow, he misses as well. Battle for it underneath, and Policella comes away with a loose ball. Moscato, back of the rim. Stefanovic pulls down the board.
Again, Irish get one crack at it. If they don't make it, they're going to not come up with the ball. Myers doing a great job.
Darren Newton again along the baseline.
Newton's putting on a clinic right now, and then Kuhn steals the ball for the Irish. Ventresca fouls.
Big swing here as the Marauders come back. They now lead it by 3, 28-25.
The Irish have lost their composure out here right now. A little bit of panic setting in.
3:08 remaining in the third quarter. Newton works on Presti, finds Stefanovic on the other side. He'll bank one in. 30-25.
Good play by Newton, expecting the help to come to stop him. Irish overreacted to Newton, left Stefanovic wide open on the offside. Again, the Irish aren't looking to penetrate. They're not putting pressure on the players of Myer who have fouls. Irish standing there throwing up 3-pointers.
O'Leary puts up a bomb, misfires, a foul called underneath.
And that's Presti, that's 4 on Presti.
Todd Upper into the game as Presti takes a seat. (30-25) Myer. Stockton, Newton outside the three-point line. Dishes over to Johnson. He'll move in. A nice, great move by Andrew Johnson. Great penetration to the hole and lays it in. Timeout called by the Irish. 2:06 remaining in the third, and a big swing. The Marauders now lead it by 7, 32-25.
Great run by Myer there, up by 7 now. They were down by, what, 5 at one point, Jim?
At one point down by 5.
So it's a big 12-point swing there, led almost exclusively by Darren Newton. Great job on the offensive board. Newton has got a little fire set up under him. He's a little upset from sitting on the pine in the first half of that ball game. He's just come out dynamite, and all the other players have just picked up the pace right along with him. It's made a heck of a difference. Irish are a little shell-shocked right now, are going to have to regroup. Good timeout by Coach Nero. They're going to have to regroup. The difference in this ball game lies in the fact that Myer is completely dominating the boards at both ends of the court. Irish are right now reduced to taking it strictly 3-point shots, 1, and you're out. They're not taking the ball to the Myer players, which is a little bit of a surprise because Myer's got so many people who are in foul trouble and the Irish aren't challenging.
Myers outscored the Irish 14-5 here in the third quarter. Darren Newton, a big part of that. 8 of his game 10 have come here in the third.
And he's also had a play. That last one that Stefanovic got was strictly a Newton production. And one of Scremin's baskets was also a Newton production. So he's been responsible for 12 of the 14.
Moscato works down low on Stefanovic. He went up for the block.
And that's exactly what you got to do. You got to take it at him.
Stefanovic called for the foul, so Moscato will make a trip to the line.
So that means Scremmons, Newton, Stefanovic all have 3 fouls on them now, and it's going to be a matter of good bench management on the part of Coach Kuhl to try and last through this. But he's got 2 good players in Johnson and Kuhn to back him up.
Andrew Johnson heading to the bench as Dave Scremmen checks back into the lineup. Johnson, of course, with that nice basket just a few minutes ago. Let's check in with Jeff Girodat on the sideline.
Thanks, Jim. After allowing only 18 points in the first half, Notre Dame's allowed 14 points in 6 minutes. That's something Coach Ralph Nero stressed in that last time out. Make sure you play solid defense. Don't panic. You're down 7, but there's lots of time left. Jim?
Thanks, Jeff. Back to game action. Dave Stockton with a ball. Setting the Myer offense, guarded closely by Gus Martial. Martial tries for the steal, knocks it out of bounds. Myer ball.
This last minute, 40 seconds in this quarter is going to be critical for the Irish. They're down 6 now. They can't afford to drop down by 8 or 10 points in this quarter. There they go. They got it in Newton's hands. That's the guy they wanted. Kewen's not about to shoot it from the outside, I don't think.
Newton gets upper to jump, moves in, off the back of the rim. Scremmen there for the board.
Dominating board.
He'll put it up himself. Kuhn gets it. This time Stefanovic. 4 boards, all offensive.
And you just saw the story of this basketball game in that sequence right there. Newton taking the ball, getting a nice little 10, 12-foot shot off. Nice shot. Scremmens keeps in play. Kuhn keeps in play. Stefanovic keeps in play. That's what this game's all about.
Todd Upper gets called for the foul on Stefanovic. So Rich Stefanovic will shoot 2.
For Upper, his 3rd, and for Myer, a chance to go up 7.
Moscato makes the save off the miss.
Irish come off a little bit lucky on that sequence. The Irish don't seem to be willing to take it right at people. They don't want to seem to take it right to the hole. Quite willing to play the perimeter game.
They set it up. Ventresca for 3. Foul on Stockton, so Ventresca to the line, 3 shots.
But still, the Irish are just throwing up 3-pointers in this basketball game. If they don't go in, Myer almost is guaranteed to have the rebound in this game.
Dave Stockton's been all over Mark Ventresca here in the second half. And it seems as though every trip down the floor, the Irish at least once try to use Jeff Moscato to set a pick to spring Ventresca free for the 3-point attempt. That's what happened there. Stockton got there, but a little too late, clipped him for the foul.
Ventresca's shooting foul shots, but they're really flat. That means he's got to be dead on with them. There's no arc, there's no follow through on the shot. But he does make 2 out of 3, brings the Irish within 4 now. .27 seconds to go. Big turnover, big turnover.
Newton tried to give and go with Stockton. Stockton had a little trouble getting by Moscato. Wasn't there for Newton's pass.
Now, last time the Irish at the end of the half tried to run out time like this, they took a horrible shot with 14 seconds to go. If you're gonna run this one down, you gotta take it with about 5 seconds to go and make sure that Myer does not get a shot off.
Inside of 10 seconds, Ventresca fouled by Stockton. 6 seconds on the clock.
For Stockton, that's 2 in a row, but it's only 2.
No shot. The Irish not yet in the bonus. 32-28, 4-point Myer lead. 6 seconds in the third as Ventresca drives. Misfires. Upper grabbed the loose ball, but it'll be Myers' possession with 1 second left on the clock here in the third quarter.
Long ball go down to Scremmens.
As time expires on the third quarter, 32-28, Ian Myer.
Irish scoring 18 points and or 8 points, 14-8 on that quarter, Jim, and the difference lies strictly in that great little run that Darren Newton put on in the middle of that quarter. One-man show for a while, great job.
And Myer Marauders, of course, Darren Newton, 8 points here in the third quarter. You just mentioned 10 on the game to lead the Marauders. Doing that with 3 fouls. He sat much of the first half, comes back in the second half, and has been the difference so far.
Oh, the total difference in this ball game has been Newton in the third quarter. The question now is the Irish seem to have got their composure back. They're only down 4 points here. They're still in the ball game. The first 2-3 minutes of this quarter will be absolutely key.
The first quarter saw Myer take a 4-point lead at the half. The Irish led it by 2. After 3 quarters, Myer back to a 4-point lead. Fourth quarter underway. The Irish have the ball, and Martial drives it up to the free throw line. Misfires off the glass, but gets his own rebound and gets called for the charge. Darren Newton draws the charge.
That was a gutsy move by Newton, standing in there, taking his chance on getting his fourth. But it's a great job. He came up lucky on it. Usually that's always called on the defensive player.
The Marauders back the other way. Another zig when he should have zagged. Darren Newton looking for Rich Stefanovic.
Irish stepping right up in the passing lanes, putting an awful lot of pressure on the ball. But it's down at this end where it's going to have to happen for the Irish. They're going to have to get some scoring. They're going to have to be more aggressive with the ball. And there's Policella being aggressive and getting the call. That's exactly what you have to do in this game. Take it right at him.
Policella drives, Scremin draws the foul.
That's his fourth. The other half of the equation is, of course, you've got to make the foul shots.
Policella hits on 1 of 2. 32-29. The Marauders up by 3, Stockton with the ball. Kuhn look for Scremin. Newton saves it. Gets it to Scremin. Back to Stefanovic. The Marauders reset. Here's Stockton.
Here's Newton again, ready to go baseline. Good job of Moscato cutting off that pick and roll.
Jump ball, the arrow in favor of Myer.
Irish having the ball out of bounds to start this quarter. Ball should be Myers. They gave it to the Irish. Now they got it straightened out.
Inbound for Stockton.
Martial on Stockton. Moscato on Scremmins. Upper on Newton. Policella on Stefanovic. Ventresca has Kuhn.
Work it inside to Scremin.
Missed it once. He's got it twice. Missed it again. There's another one.
Newton had a shot at the rebound and a foul called on Moscato. Newton went down hard on the follow.
Moscato called for a push. That's his third.
The Marauders in the bonus, so Newton makes a trip to the strike.
Irish have yet to reach the bonus situation in this ball game, so it's a chance for Myer here to get a few freebies. Newton getting the first, makes the second. Darren Newton single-handedly, I think Jim has taken over this basketball game.
Newton leads the Marauders with 12. The Marauders lead the Irish by 5. Just under 6 minutes to go in the game. Policella, Marcio looked at the 3, steps up.
And again,
in and out. Newton grabs the rebound, finds Stockton alone on the side.
One-shot effort once again, story of this game. Irish take the perimeter shot, they don't make it, they lose it.
Newton goes up over Upper, misfired. Stefanovic grabbed the rebound and got fouled, then Treska's gonna get called.
Myer takes the perimeter shot, they get the rebound. Come up with the rebound, they either get 2 points or else they get a foul situation like they've got now and they're in the bonus. Presti's back in the court. Presti has 4.
Stefanovic throws one in there fairly flat. A little more arc on that one, but it doesn't go. Moscato comes away with a board. Kuhn, chance at the steal. Policella gets it back, over and back. They turn it over, Myer ball.
Case of Kuhn just simply out hustling and outworking Policella on that one. Myer starting to take it to the Irish. We're at a critical point in this ball game. Myer up 35-29. This basket will be a big one if Myer can make it. 5-minute mark.
Stefanovic down low baseline. Went to toss it over to Scremin. He gets called for the travel.
But the 3rd time in this game, the Myer Marauders have had the Irish right on the ropes. Can't put them away.
Martial's gonna drive it in.
Takes it to Scremin. Scremin's just buried him.
Quickly back the other way, the Marauders go to work. Stefanovic working on Policella.
Almost every play, every call now, both coaches are up.
Upper got a hand in there, broke the pass up. The Irish bring it back the other way. Policella spots up for 3. That's off the front of the rim. Scremin on the floor looking for the loose ball. Jump ball signal by the officials.
That'll be the Irish ball this time.
6-point Myer lead. 4.5 minutes remain in the game. Quick outlet into Moscato. He misfires.
Again,
Newton battles for the loose ball, and Upper gets called for the foul.
and again, Scremin's buried Moscato. Moscato goes to the inside, and Scremin's is the intimidating factor there.
Now the Irish running into some foul trouble.
That's Upper
Presti
with 4.
Upper with 4. Scremin has 4 for Myer. Newton and Stefanovic each with 3.
And a whole bunch of players with 1 and 2, Jim.
For the Irish, Moscato and Ventresca each with 3.
But again, Newton on the line with key points coming down here. Making them as he has this whole second quarter. Myer up by 7. Myer still up by 7.
Moscato knocked it out of bounds. Myer ball.
Has happened so many times.
Newton inbounds for Stefanovic. Newton drives through, passes off to Scremin. He'll bank one up, no good. Rebound knocked away. Here's Marcio on the run. He takes it in on Stockton, can't convert. Kuhn with a rebound, quickly up to Stefanovic.
This could be key.
Newton for 3. Nothing but net for Darren Newton.
And at the 4-minute mark, 4th quarter, you can put this one to bed.
39-29 Myer.
Myer up by 10. The Irish aren't playing well enough to be able to catch him.
Ventresca takes it inside, dishes to Moscato. Foul on Scremin, I believe.
I think that should be 5.
35, Dave Scremin, that's 5. Timeout called. 3:44 remaining in this senior boys AAA Zone 3 championship basketball game. It's a 10-point Myer lead.
Well, that's a big factor in this basketball game, but it comes too late for the Irish to take advantage of it. Scremin's played just a fantastic role in this ball game. He's been a little on the slack side, hasn't done the job of a big man during the middle part of the season, but in the championship game when it counted, he came up really big. He just totally dominated the boards on the offensive end. He was an intimidator on the defensive end. Great job.
On the foul, Jeff Moscato goes to the line. Ryan Sills into the game to replace Dave Scremin. Close the books on Dave Scremin. He finishes the game with 6 points.
See, that's not really a bad move.
6 impressive points, and as well, a very strong game on the boards.
But what Myer gets out of this, of course, is some guards on the court. They're looking to kill time now and control the basketball. As long as Irish shoot foul shots like that, there's no great worry.
Moscato misfires. Stefanovic thought he had the loose ball. Policella tore it away and then got fouled on his way up. Stefanovic gets called for the foul. Now he has 4.
But again, when the clock is stopped, you got to make these shots.
Policella now with 14 in the game. Cuts the Myer lead to 8.
Myers definitely opened it all the way up there.
Newton drives, puts one up.
That's what makes players of the game, Jim. That kind of stuff under the pressure, hitting the 3 from the baseline, hitting the 2 from the baseline.
Ventresca for 3.
But only the first one of this half. That's the difference in the ball game between Newton and Ventresca. One comes.
Stefanovic all alone for the jam. Newton picks up the loose ball. Stockton slows things down the other way.
Myer running an awful lot of backdoor stuff. Irish way up in the passing lane. We're going to see another slam or an easy layup before this one's all over. Myer spreading it way out, just going one-on-one to the hole. Two 14 to go.
Newton gets fouled by O'Leary. See Darren Newton, or check that Rich Stefanovic up for the dunk. As Newton hits both from the free throw line.
Great explanation. Mark put on a great fourth quarter by the Myer Marauders.
Policella drives through, gets the lay-in, and then a quick timeout called by the Irish.
But again, for Policella, too little, too late. Only coming up with 2 baskets. That's his second in the whole second half. Again, telling the story. Irish just stood outside and shot the basketball one time each time down. Just didn't do the job while Myer took it right at him. I really shouldn't say Myer took it at him. Darren Newton took it at him.
Darren Newton has 18 here in the second half alone. 20 on the game. Darren Newton's second half, 18 points. To put that in perspective, The Irish have scored 16 in the second half.
Yeah, and that's the ball game right there. There's no question about it. Newton had 3 really quick fouls, ended up sitting out almost the whole first half. He came out like a man possessed in this second half, just totally took over the basketball game, and led a very able supporting cast led by Dave Scremmons. Myers well deserving of this win tonight.
Let's quickly check in with Jeff Girardat, who's on the sidelines.
Jim, I was briefly over there by the Notre Dame timeout. One thing they've concerned about, they've only got 1 timeout left in the game, so it's going to be very hard to stop the clock. They also want to know who's got Darren Newton, who's had a tremendous second half. They're going to have a full court press, and they talked about who to foul on the Myer team, try and get the ball back that way. Jim?
Well, the Irish only having 1 timeout and showing a little concern about who's guarding Darren Newton. It's a little late for that.
Yeah, and I don't think it would matter who stepped up and said, I've got him, because Newton is just beating the Irish team, period.
Dave Stockton on the line for the Marauders.
I'm sure that Coach Nero is going to be happy to see the name Newton wiped off the score sheets of Myer. Greg Newton in the last 3 years. Here's Darren Newton coming up here and doing the job on him.
He's got Darren Newton for 1 more year, grade 12 student this year. So if Ralph Nero's anxious, he's got another year to wait.
He's got 1 more look at him, yeah.
Stockton hits on both and widens the margin to 11.
Some people see sheep in their dreams. Coach Nero's going to be seeing little Newtons in his.
Ventresca for 3, well off the mark. Stefanovic with the board.
There's just no business taking that kind of shot. It's a forced shot, total lack of discipline, poor decision making on the part of Ventresca.
Kuhn tried to dish off to Stefanovic, but Kuhn was fouled before the pass was completed, so Chris Kuhn will step to the line. 6 points for Kuhn in the first half. Fairly quiet here in the second, but playing a great job defensively and offensively, especially on the boards.
Yeah, you know, Irish took a 20-18 lead to start this second half. They opened it up to about 5-6 points very early in the quarter. It looked like they might put this game away. Then all at once, Newton took care of it, hit about 8 straight points, and that was the ball game. Irish panicked a little when Newton hit them right in a row, and they never did get their composure back.
Stockton fouled by Marcio. A minute 20 remains in the game. Marcio his 4th.
Of course, what happens so often in these ball games toward the end, when you keep putting players on the line, they start making them. The pressure's off Myer. They're going to hit him, and it's going to make it look like this is a total wipeout in this basketball game. Actually, it was one heck of a good basketball game in the first half. Not bad through about 3/4 of the third quarter, and then Myer just starts to take it over.
Policella comes away with a board. Quickly over to Ventresca. That's off the front of the rim, back of the rim, and Stefanovic pulls down the board. He gets hauled down from behind by Policella. No foul there. But Policella does get called for a foul on Trevor Brown. Stefanovic gets up slowly.
I think the people in the Niagara Peninsula are going to have to be eagerly anticipating the expected show. I don't know. We know that in St. Catharines Collegiate Saints are trying to get in what we expect is going to be the SASA finals, and that leads to the big show in Ancaster next week between Myer and St. Catharines Collegiate. That'll be a heck of a ball game.
The Collegiate Saints, and I believe Governor Simcoe in action as we speak in St. Catharines. Collegiate held a slim margin at the half.
Of course, that doesn't tell us much because Notre Dame held a slim margin at the half here as well.
48-36 with 55 seconds remaining in the game. Darren Newton to the line. The Irish continue to foul, play getting scrambly as the clock ticks down on what would appear.
Yeah, this game was all over when Stefanovic put that big exclamation mark on the top of the hoop with that jam.
Kuhn now has 7 in the game.
As we said, Myer will now go on to Ancaster and play in Sasa. Be Ancaster Dundas, the winner of the collegiate Simcoe.
Ventresca underneath, misfires. Newton comes away with a loose ball. He'll run it down the floor. Marcio fouls Newton.
Winner of Sasa, Jim, of course, advances to Brampton for the AAA Officer Boys Basketball Championship. And it's that time of the year that a lot of us basketball aficionados call hoop heaven time. We get playoffs in the Canadian University. We're lucky in this area to have an excellent team at Brock University. We wish them well. They'll be entering in their playoffs. We wish Myer well. And a whole bunch of basketball will be coming up on the tube over the next while.
The Brock Badgers with a big game tomorrow. Of course, the Canadian Nationals, the OFSA Championships, SASA, and the ever-present March Madness.
That's right. It's a great time of year if you happen to be a basketball freak.
Newton misfires. Harry Plass with a board. O'Leary for 3. Well off the mark. Andrew Johnson with a rebound. Down the floor, Newton waits for his teammates. Under 20 seconds left to go in the game, and the Marauders will just kill the clock. Johnson outside to Stockton. Stockton will run it around.
And Myers very deserving. They beat the Irish twice during league play. They are the best team in Sasa Zone 3. They deserve to be here.
Time ticks down. Bob Cool has won his 4th straight Zone 3 Senior Boys Basketball Championship with the Myer Marauders and earned his club a berth in their 4th straight Sasa Championship tournament.
And for Bob Cool, this is his last Sasa Zone 3. He's a deserving winner. He's been there. He's definitely the dean of the basketball coaches in the Niagara Peninsula. He deserves to come out a winner in his last try. And we wish them all very well in their Sasa endeavor. And I don't think, Jim, there's absolutely any doubt about who the player of the game is in this one. Darren Newton just did an outstanding job. Dave Scremmons, true enough, just dominated the boards and determined the outcome. But Darren Newton just literally turned this game around single-handedly.
You mentioned it earlier. The Irish led at the half 20-18. And in the second half, number 25 for the Myer Marauders, Darren Newton took over, getting 18 of his 20 points in the second half, outscoring the Irish by himself. Darren Newton, our FM 101 The Planet player of the game here on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. And when we return, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll try and get a chance to speak with Darren Newton and maybe a couple other members of the Myer Marauders, 4-time consecutive Zone 3 Senior Boys Basketball Champions. We'll return to the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week in just a moment.
Today's player of the game is sponsored by The Planet FM 101, Niagara's new rock alternative.
Welcome back. Joining player of the game, Darren Newton, and head coach Bob Cool of the Myer Marauders. Darren, great game. First of all, I just want to know, what was the team's feeling coming into tonight's game after that tough game on Tuesday?
We just wanted to prove to everybody that we could play well. I mean, we showed that we had heart against Centennial, so we just wanted to come out and play our best game possible.
You hit a three-pointer with about maybe 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter that put your team up by 10. That sort of put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, well, on that shot, I think I got fouled, but we don't complain about that.
And how about when Dave Scremmon left the game, he got out of foul trouble, everybody else picked it up. It was a great job defensively as well.
Yeah, well, when Scremmon goes out of the game, we know we have to pick it up defensively. I mean, we have to pick it up all around on rebounds and everything like that.
Darren, congratulations. I'll get you back with your teammates for the celebration. I'm just going to get in with Bob Cool here. Bob, you talked about earlier in the game that you thought your team could come back and play well, and they did that today. Was there any sense of animosity, or not really animosity, but just feeling that they might come out in the flat in this game as well?
Sure. That's what I worry about. That's what Coach Adele about. I knew it was going to be a good game, and I'm happy that we came through in the second half. And I'm happy Darren sparked us for a bit, and just from talking to him, you probably realized he was in bed with the flu last weekend, and he's had the flu all this week, and he had to overcome that to play. And I think Chris Kuhn really helped us defensively. So the two of those boys, well, I think we played 9 guys in the game, and I think everybody played well.
Not only did you show everybody here that you deserve to be here, but you also erased the ghosts and the memories of 5 years ago when you lost to a tough Notre Dame team. This has really become a great rivalry.
Well, we've beaten them the last 4 years, so I'm kind of happy about that. We did lose, I think, the first year I was coaching at Myer in the senior, and that was a real good game. And a player by the name of Dave Picton came up very big in that game, and he's a fine player now, and that's probably what did it. We had Greg Newton with us then, but he was really a young player at that time.
Anything you got to work on in particular for Sasa?
I'm not sure what we'll do. I'll go home and think about it. I don't usually look ahead until it's time to go there, but I'll spend some time this weekend thinking about them, and then we play them next Tuesday and Wednesday. We've got a game before them, and I'm not sure what's coming out of Zone 1 this year, but we shouldn't look beyond that. And if we do meet St. Catharines Collegiate, hopefully we'll have a good game with them.
Bob Cool, thanks very much. I'll let you get back to your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. So once again, that's it. A.M. Myer advances to Sasa for the 4th year in a row, and the living legend continues with Bob Cool. Now let's go back to the desk. Here's Jim and Jack.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. A great game played by the A.N. Myer Marauders, and as well should be mentioned, the Irish gave it a gallant effort, just fell apart in the second half.
Yeah, the great game was just superb in the first half. Irish played great defense. They actually could have been up maybe even more points. They started off the second half up 2 points. They had a great little run there for about 2.5 minutes. And then all at once, Darren Newton just sort of took a look around that court and said, hey guys, I'm not finished for the year. Bingo, he hit a nice baseline drive. He hit for 2. He was fouled. He made the foul shot. Came back down, hit for 2, fouled, made the foul shot, hit another shot, hit a 3 later on. Bingo, that ball game was all over, punctuated by a great jam by Stefanovic.
And you really can't say enough about seeing the A.N. Myer Marauders win, because one thing they do have is probably one of the best group of fans that follow their teams around in the high school area.
Yeah, they do a great job. They're always there. They have an awful lot of fun. That's what high school basketball is supposed to be all about, having an awful lot of fun. They do it.
Our congratulations to both the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame for coming into this championship game, and the A.N. Myer Marauders, who for the 4th consecutive year will move on to the Sasa Championship Tournament. We also know they will be joined from the Niagara region by the St. Catharines Collegiate Saints, 40-30 winners over Governor Simcoe earlier this evening.
And we've known since the very first game way back in November it would be St. Catharines and either Notre Dame or Myer. It turned out to be Myer. Myer was well deserving. They beat Notre Dame twice during the league play. They deserve to be there. And we wish Myer best of luck from Zone 3, St. Catharines from Zone 4. And the 2 teams, we don't know who they are, but it'll be a team from Dundas, a team from Ancaster. 4-team tournament. I wish I were there.
That does it for us on the hardwood here on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. Our basketball coverage for the season concludes with this game. The A.N. Myer Marauders win their 4th straight Zone 3 Senior Boys AAA Basketball Championship with a 49-36 win over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Darren Newton, with his 20 points, selected our FM 101.1 The Planet Player of the Game. Newton, the player of the game. The Marauders win it. For Jeff Girardat, Jack Chambers, myself, Jim Gould, our sponsors, FM 101 The Planet and Pete's Pizza, as well as everybody who made the High School Game of the Week possible. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the hardwood next season. For the springtime, we move outdoors.